Hello there, it is Dr. Siobhan here, and I am back with you to continue along with this three-part series all about moving through anger, right? So we talked last time a lot about how anger is an emotion that many of us experience, that all human beings experience from time to time, and that essentially it comes as a protector to some other emotions, namely fear, sadness, and hurt. In our last video, we also talked a bit about understanding what anger looks like for ourselves. What are our triggers? What are the core beliefs that we have that lead us to feel angry? We also talked about our anger profile, like what you do, how you express your anger, and all of that good stuff. So if this is the first video you're seeing, scroll back through and find the first video, which is really some good foundational information as we move forward in this conversation and in what I'm going to be teaching you. So today we are talking all about uncovering and healing the emotions underneath anger, which again are fear, hurt, sadness, things of that nature. And I want to share with you a process that I use personally and that I work with my clients through to really sort of uncover what it is that is being rubbed against, what it is that's being agitated that leads us to the explosive emotion of anger. I'm sure as you think about some of the situations that you have blown up about, when you take a step back, you may see that there were a number of different ways that you could have handled it, a number of different ways that you could have responded that would have been better for you and your husband or whoever might have been involved in that situation. And so I want us to really sort of think about that and to begin the process, or at least have an understanding of what would be required to really help us not always default to anger. And so if we come with the understanding that anger is just sad's bodyguard, right? That underneath the anger is a much more tender, calmer, loving emotion, then we can sort of begin to chip away at the hardening that often happens, which leads us to anger. So the first thing that I want you to do as you process your anger, as you sort of uncover what is underneath it, is to do just a brain dump, just to journal and write down what you're angry about, right? Ask yourself the question, what am I angry about? And pause and let the answers come. I'm sure they will come. I'm sure they may come actually quite quickly. And so you want to capture them down. Why is this important? A lot of times we have so many thoughts. Actually, we have 60,000 thoughts that run through our head in a given day. The majority of them are negative. But if you just have these thoughts just bumping around in your head and you're not fully aware of them, you haven't really looked at them, you don't name them and describe what they are, then they continue to sort of agitate you. And so the process of actually journaling, writing it down, getting it on paper is very cathartic, and it also sort of releases what you've been like holding tightly in your mind, and what has been weighing you down. So the first step is going to be to do a brain dump, a brainstorm, get it all out. The questions you have, the frustrations you have, the concerns you have, the worries you have, everything that you're thinking, jot it down, get it out, and take a look at it. Okay? That is step number one. No filters, right? This is not something that's going to be shared with anyone else. So you want to really be honest about what it is that you were angry about. Ask yourself the question, what am I so angry about, right? And then I'm going to ask you to do something that when you hear it, you're going to be like, what? But I want you to immediately after you do that, begin to document and write down the things that you are grateful for. Even in the midst of your anger, even in the midst of your frustration, if you can shift your mind to a place of gratitude, if you can shift your mind to thinking about, even though I'm so angry about all of these other things, yet when I really sit and think about it, I can still be grateful for this, right? List out all the things that you are grateful for, even in the midst of experiencing the emotion of anger. What that's going to do is it's going to shift your mindset, but it's also going to soften your heart to the remaining steps of the process so that you can do them effectively. Because otherwise you're going to have a lot of resistance because you're going to be stuck in anger and you wouldn't have like massaged it out and soothed it over it all. And so when it comes to the next steps, you're still stuck in anger and you're going to be very resistant to it in your mind. And so practicing gratitude, even in the space of anger, is something that just massages that primal emotion to a more even keel so that you can be a little bit more rational in your thinking. So what I want you to do next, the third step, after you've brain dumped all the things you're angry about, after you have identified what it is you're grateful about, is I want you to ask yourself, what is the need that is not being met, right? Maybe it's fear. Maybe you're hurt. Maybe you're sad. Whatever anger is covering up, it is a blanket for a deeper need that you have that is not being met. So some of the most common human needs are the need for love, for safety, like emotional safety, for meaning, to feel like your life has meaning and purpose, equality. That speaks to that core belief we talked about before of things not being fair. So maybe your need for feeling like things are on equal playing field is not being met. Maybe your sense of belonging or sense of value and feeling important. Clarity, right? Maybe you're actually operating from a place of confusion, and so your need for clarity is not being met. Play. Sometimes we just need to relax and have a good time, and so maybe things are so stressful and so tight that your need for play is not being met. Freedom. Maybe you're feeling bogged down and in a box and all tight. Empathy. Maybe you're not getting the empathy and the understanding and the compassion that you need. And then the other basic needs, food, water, shelter. So spend a little bit of time asking yourself, what is the need that is not being met? And if you haven't ever done this before, if you want to really access like, well, what are needs? Like, am I doing this right? I know that comes up a lot, especially given that you're watching this video and we're not having a one-on-one session with each other. You can just Google, literally, you can just Google most common human needs, and you will find a range of them. And so just take a look and find the ones that really speak to you. Like when you think about your triggers, which hopefully you did from the last video, what are the needs that are being surfaced by the situation? Okay, so that is step 3. Extending step 3, right? There's some other parts to it. So after you identify the need, I want you to then think about, when did this need first surface for you in your life? That will probably take you back to your childhood, to some experience in your family, some experience with friends, some experience you had where you first felt that need. So for example, belonging, sense of belonging is very important to me. I can think back to when I was in I think it was the 4th grade. I was friends with these 2 other girls who lived closer to each other than I lived to them. And I remember always feeling left out. And so whenever that is sort of scratched for me, whether in my marriage or in other areas of my life, I am so aware of it now because I spent the time looking back in my past at where was this need first surfaced and where was it not met? What is my first memory of this need not being met? And it's important to do that because that is actually your place of healing. So the situation you may be confronted with your husband is just aggravating a wound that was acquired many, many years ago. which is why your emotions are so explosive about it, because it's been building and building and building and accumulating in all these different areas of your life and all these different circumstances, such that he doesn't have to do very much at all to touch it and trigger you in such a way such that anger becomes your response. So again, identify the need that is not being met, and then think back over your life. When was this need first surfaced for you, and when was it not met? Okay. And that's the place that you want to focus your healing on. You want to focus on that need, and you want to focus on healing the wound that caused it initially, right? And the next step is really moving to a place of progressing forward and affirming yourself in that. So as I was saying, you want to affirm your need. I am a huge fan and proponent of affirmations for so many reasons that I won't even go into here. Just trust me, they work when you do them correctly. So I actually want to take you through a 3-step process of creating your affirmations based on where you are in your own thinking. It's really hard to jump from one end of the spectrum to another end. And so I want to guide you through how you can progress yourself through creating affirmations that you can actually believe. And so the first way to start the affirmation when you're sort of in stage 1 is I want. This is just affirming your desire and affirming the need that's not being met. So for example, if you are struggling with feeling important and valued by your husband right now, you can say, I want to feel important. I want to feel valued. I want to feel wanted. I want to feel desired. So create a series of affirmations that just declare your desires. Start them with I want. That's stage 1. When you're ready, or if you're already there, stage 2 is starting the affirmation with I can. So I can feel important. I can be important to my husband. I can be desired by my husband. I can be loved by my husband. That is just creating possibility. And you want to exist in that space. First, because it makes you feel good, but then it just opens you up to this healing process that we're working through right now. And then the third phase is for when you are really ready to sort of stand in what it is you want. And those affirmations will start with I am. So I am important. I am valued. I am loved by my husband. Okay. So these affirmations, again, whether you start them with I want, I can, or I am, speak to the need that is not being met. This is important because you want to begin the process of learning how to meet your own needs. And part of that is shifting your mindset, shifting your language, shifting your thoughts to what it is you do want instead of what it is you don't want. Okay. And these affirmations will help you do that. Now, the 5th step is the one you want to spend a lot of time on, and that is just taking it to God. There are some things in life that we cannot heal on our own, that other people, even in their apology and their remorse, can't heal for us. And there's some things that we really just need to take to God. We need to take everything to God, but some things we won't resolve on our own without taking them to Him. And so in your prayer time, in your meditation time, in your quiet time with God, and I suggest to start maybe 5 minutes a day, if that's not a practice that you're already in the habit of doing, ideally 15 to 30 minutes on the thing that you really need healed. And I know it's going to be like, what? Who has time for that? But the reality is whatever you're carrying around that hasn't been healed is just weighing you down, and it's slowing down every other area of your life. And so make the time now to really cleanse yourself and heal yourself so that you can move forward. So the first thing in your prayer is to just start with gratitude. You want to enter into the presence of God with gratitude. And so start there. Start with all the things that you're grateful for all the blessings He's already given you in your life. And then just ask Him to heal you. Literally, ask and it shall be given to you as long as you believe. So, God, I ask that you heal me from feeling like I don't belong. I ask you to heal me from feeling like I'm not loved by my husband. I ask that your spirit would just pour into my heart and heal me in those places where I am still hurting. Use your own language, use your own words, a sincere prayer to just ask God to heal you in that specific area will work wonders. And then the third part of your prayer is again that declaration. You can draw upon your affirmations that you created before and just declaring that you are healed. Like, thank you that I am now being healed from this hurt and this pain. I release this hurt and this pain. I have closure on this situation so that I can move forward. So that is it. I encourage you to try this out as part of your healing process to be able to move through anger much more productively. So again, the first step, brain dump. What am I so angry about? The second step, gratitude. What can I be grateful for even though I'm still angry? Number 3, what is the need that is not being met? When did that need first surface? When was it first unmet? Go there for your healing first. Number 4, affirm your need. I want, I can, I am, depending on whatever stage you're in. And then step 5 is take it to God. Enter into his courts with thanksgiving and praise, and then ask him to heal you. I would love to hear how this goes for you. I know that this is not easy, right? Watching this video, you can try your best to do it on your own. If you feel like having a more one-on-one conversation with me about these things, if you want to see what it might be like to work with me, if I'm the right professional to help you, I would love to talk with you. As you know, I offer a complimentary consultation. That link to schedule some time together is included with this video, and so I do encourage you to take advantage of that. And in addition, I will be back with you for another video, our third video in this series, where we will be talking about how to generate compassion. Compassion is the antidote for anger. How do you create it? Well, you got to do the things that we've been talking about up until now, and then you'll be all set and in position to generate compassion in whatever it is that has been keeping you angry. So I look forward to meeting you back here for that conversation. And for those of you who will schedule a consultation, I'm really excited to speak with you directly. All right, I'll be back with you soon.